Hey everybody, I have a very exciting announcement. My game, Polymino, is now available on Steam Early Access. I'm really excited about Early Access because there's a lot of room for things to change based on the suggestions that people give me. Especially the new game modes that I'm planning on adding, because the details of those modes haven't really been hammered out yet. Even the details that I have thought of for those modes, I'm willing to completely throw them away if anybody has ideas that I like better. One thing I've actually already done before early access is I sent a couple of my friends Steam keys for the game so that they could test it out. And my intention was to do that just to find any bugs that I might have missed, make sure it runs on all their computers, just so I'm not relying on some magical feature that only exists on my computer and it breaks on everybody else's, that type of thing. But one thing that actually came out of it that I wasn't expecting was some suggestions which led to some very significant improvements in the main game mode, or the classic game mode. And we'll talk about what those changes were in a bit, but all that is to say, if suggestions from just a couple people were able to drastically improve the game, I can't wait to see what happens with Steam Early Access. I also really appreciate anybody who takes the time to report a bug that they find, especially if you tell me how I can reproduce the bug myself so it's easier to track down. One thing I've learned with software development in general is that it's pretty much impossible to find every single bug in your own code by yourself. So you really need somebody with a fresh pair of eyes to look at it and try it out. And, because they don't already know how it's supposed to work and how you're supposed to use it, they'll probably be able to find bugs that you couldn't have even imagined in a million years, and they'll find it in like 20 seconds. So if you'd like to get in touch and give your feedback, then the best way to do it is probably the Discord server. There will be a link in the description of this video. There's also a link on the Steam store page. And, if you don't want to use Discord, you can also just use the Steam community discussions, and I'll be active there as well. So whichever one you prefer, that is a-okay. Before I continue, I figured I might just want to address the elephant in the room. I am using a cassette camcorder to record this. I bought this thing to transfer some old family home videos, and then I realized, well, unlike my phone, I can use a real tripod with this thing without buying some kind of adapter. And, it's also got like 3 times the frame rate of my phone. So it's been a while since I did any kind of update about Polymino, and I'm definitely going to start being more consistent now that the game is on Steam Early Access. If there's a bug that exists or something like that, then it's really important for me to be putting out constant updates so people know that I'm alive and still working on the game and that I'm listening to their feedback. So they won't all be videos like this. They're mainly going to be text. I'll post updates in the Discord server and the Steam community announcements. Since it's been so long, I want to use the rest of this video to talk about what's changed in the last month or so. So like I mentioned before, thanks to some suggestions from my friends, I've improved the classic game mode quite a bit. What's changed is score and difficulty. Basically with Polymino, because the goal is to get the highest score possible before you lose, that means that, you have to lose eventually, no matter how good you are at the game. So the difficulty has to get higher progressively. The way it used to work is every 10,000 points you earn, the difficulty would go up by 1. But the problem with that is if you wanted to get the absolute highest score possible, the best way to do it would be to start at the lowest difficulty, because if you start at difficulty 1 and you earn 50,000 points, you'll be on difficulty 6. But if you start at difficulty 5 and you earn 50,000 points, you'll be at difficulty 11. But if you start at difficulty 5 and earn 50,000 points, you'll be at difficulty 10. That's a huge problem, because if you're already good at the game, then the lower difficulties are too easy for you, and it's not very fun to play on those difficulties. What I've done to change that is now the points thresholds for each difficulty are fixed. So, for example, for difficulty 10, the points threshold is 250,000, and that sounds really high, but like I said, points have also been changed, so we'll get to that. What that means is, if you start at difficulty 9, you'll just stay at difficulty 9 until you get 250,000 points, then you'll be at difficulty 10. But if you start at difficulty 1, you'll climb through all of the difficulties one by one as you hit their points thresholds. So you're not going to miss out on any points by playing on a higher difficulty now. And the calculation for the points thresholds for the difficulties, by the way, is difficulty squared times 2,500 points. So for difficulty 10, that's 250,000. For the highest difficulty of 20, that's 1 million points. The other thing that's changed is points. The way that works now is your points get multiplied by the difficulty. So if you're playing at difficulty 10 and you have a combo of 10, your points all get multiplied by 100. As the game continues and it gets more and more intense, your score will also be going up faster and faster, and it really helps the game feel more exciting. The other change related to score and difficulty is bombs, because obviously now you're earning points, up to like 20 times faster than you were before. So now, instead of earning a bomb every 5,000 points, you earn it every 10,000 points, which of course means you earn bombs a lot faster now in higher difficulties. However, once you hit the points threshold for difficulty 20, which is the highest, you don't earn bombs anymore, because again, you have to lose eventually. And if you could earn bombs super quickly and easily at the highest difficulties, you probably could play forever. So now, assuming that you're a good enough player to get to the highest difficulty, the sort of strategy is using the bombs as sparingly as possible until you get to the highest difficulty, and then trying to survive at difficulty 20 with the limited number of bombs that you have. We'll see if that's sort of a fun end game, and of course there is always room for change. So the other major changes, there's a new game mode that was added called Puzzle Mode. Basically what it is instead of junk continuously falling from the top of your board, what happens is your board starts pretty much full, but no new junk spawns. So you just have to get the highest possible score with the board you start with. So it's kind of just meant to be like a more casual, sort of low pressure mode. And there's another sort of sub mode called the Daily Puzzle, where, once a day a new random board is generated, and it's the same for every player. And right now you can retry it as many times as you want. I might change it so that you only get one try or some limited number of tries. We'll see how that goes. And you can view the leaderboard for that, the online leaderboard, in-game. And there's also a Steam leaderboard for the classic mode, so you can compare your scores to anyone else on Steam. There's actually a couple achievements associated with the Steam leaderboards. One of them's not added to the game, but I'm actually working on it like right now, so it will be added. And they're both secret achievements, but since you're watching this video, I'll let you in on the secret. One of them is a reward for being at the top of the daily puzzle leaderboard. The other achievement, the one that I'm working on adding right now, is one for beating my high score at classic mode. So before I add that achievement, I'm going to try to get the highest score I possibly can. And yeah, I figured it would be kind of cool to see people who are better at my own game than me. I'm like really excited to see that. And so I think anybody who can do that should get a Steam achievement and a really cool in-game reward. The unlockable for that one will be a surprise. It won't be the same as the other unlockables. I want you to be able to flex the fact that you got a higher score than me. Speaking of Steam achievements, I think there were already some implemented last time I gave an update on the game, but now there's, I believe, 16 of them. They all have icons. And I think all but 3 of them have an in-game unlockable associated with them. Every unlockable is some new cosmetic thing, like a new appearance for the blocks or the junk blocks, or, a new sound effects pack. New particle effects is another example. When it comes to adding content like that, the hard part is thinking of ideas. And once I actually have an idea that I really want to go with, it takes a relatively short amount of time to execute it and put it in the game. So I want to keep adding more stuff. And again, any suggestions you have would be fantastic. I think that's pretty much it. So my camera is about to run out of tape. So I'll leave it there, but thank you everybody for keeping up with the project. I hope you'll check it out on Steam Early Access. Even just wishlisting it is a huge help on Steam, so I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to get in touch on Discord or the Steam community discussions. Thank you for watching. Basically, the way it works is, basically the way it works is, uh, basically the way it works is you still earn bomb. Basically, the way it works is you earn points.